And so it kind of auto balances like Bitcoin hash rate. If the hash rate's too high compared to the value, miners lose money. They turn the hash rate off. It auto balances. If the staking rate is too high, then people might end their stakes because the payout in hex terms is lower, but then the USD value would pick up because people are getting paid less coins, right? So it's this auto balancing system.
So I got to understand this. I hear you talking about the past price, which you acknowledge is speculative, which I appreciate that you acknowledge
Sure.
that.
Yeah. There's no base demand for any cryptocurrency. It's all speculation.
So you also mentioned that the original address at one point sent coins to other addresses to stake, and then later sent coins to other addresses to
that didn't
not
stake. Yes.
This implies that individuals were depositing hex, and that basically more hex was being staked and being locked up and potentially paying out other stakers, right? But the question here then becomes,
the more people that stake hex, the less each staker makes because they're sharing from a common pool.
They make sense. The APY goes down.
Yeah.
But the question here is, how many of that 13% of the wallets that are staking right now are from that original origin wallet?
I think it's 15 or it was at one time a maximum of 20%. And then I think that the 1 year stakes ended when 1 year passed. And then just recently, 2 year stakes have ended as well. And so it might be down to maybe 15% of the total shares are in the hands of the origin address. And it would be even less, except the origin address daughters staked for so long that they got a higher multiple. So it took fewer coins to generate 15 or 20% of the shares because the stake lengths were so long. But if you do the chain analysis, the origin address has never sold a single coin ever. So when you see the price dump 65 or 75%, it's normal users doing it, taking profit, buying Lamborghinis and houses and golf courses. There's a lot of very rich people in Hex. A lot.
A couple things to clarify here. You first of all, you're saying 15% of the
shares,
or of all the shares.
Yes, 15% of the 13%. Yes.
Okay. I'll make that clear.
It gets reduced twice. Yeah.
That makes sense. So now those staking periods, whatever that was, at one point it may have been, it sounds like as high as 2 or 3%, whatever. Those people have, or wallets have ended their 1 or 2 year stake, you said, or a lot of them have ended their 1 or 2 year stake.
Yep.
Maybe there were even more previously. What happened to the hex then? Where did the hex go? Because now those are all individual addresses.
It just sits there.
Never sold a single.
That's the reason. Well, that's the reason the staking participation is so low, right? So like, there's a lot of whales in Hex that have really long time horizon thinking. So they'll either stake for 15 years or just get diluted now in order to on-ramp more users, is my guess. Because otherwise, why wouldn't you take the free money? Because you can stake for just a day, right? So I think if a lot of users aren't staking, it's probably because they have like an alternative, maybe marketing method, right? Motive. Because you have to understand, first of all, when you quote somebody that they can make 10,000x returns, it sounds like a scam. So it's easier to actually on-ramp a user saying it's a 40% APY because they can believe that. But if you tell them it's actually 1.4x times your USD return, which is a million X, and you're like, or 10,000x, it's shocking to people. They can barely believe it, you know? And if we showed them all the free money that was airdropped to us, they wouldn't believe that either. It's just, and by the way, here's the sad part. If you do get them to believe that, then it opens them up to start getting scammed by all the scammers out there. And so there's this art that I call the risk diode, where you can warn people about scams without telling them the URL to go to get scammed. And so people that are already being scammed know to be careful or get out. And the people that haven't been introduced to the scam yet, they don't know what to type in order to get introduced to it. And I see people do this wrong all the time.
I appreciate that. I'm gonna go. I want to ask this in a different way. The original wallet sent coins to stake wallets.
It sent coins to other addresses, which then staked.
Right. For 1 to 2 years. And
well, no, it was an average of 5 years, and then so it was like, if I remember correctly, I haven't done the chain analysis in a while. The daughter addresses would have 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 year long stakes spread out over like every day. So, and then now that 2 years has passed, all those stakes that, it's funny, the community noticed that some of these daughter addresses were about to get penalized by fees because they hadn't ended their stake within 2 weeks. And so this guy named John Wick in Hex Trading Chat, we've got like 10,000 people in this chat that eyeballs every wallet. Oh, this guy's end stake's coming up. Is he going to dump? Is he not going to dump? Oh, this wallet's been buying. Look how much more dry powder he's got. They do all the chain analysis. Like when the price moves, I go to Hex Trading to find out why it moved, because those guys already know. So this guy, John Wick in there, he paid $5,000, I think, in gas fees to end a whole bunch of daughter stakes that were going to start being penalized. And here's the reason why I did that. When you have an expired stake, those shares that are in the pool are diluting everybody else's payouts. Now, long term, when someone finally does good accounting or end that stake, it removes those expired shares, which increases everybody else's payouts. And it also deploys the harvested penalties to the stakers as well. And so he just wanted the higher APY now instead of later. And so he caused the good accounting function to be called, which pulled the expired shares, which increased everybody's daily payouts now. At the cost of later, it would have been higher if they kept letting it tick through and burn its stakes. It's totally trustless. like the community just did everything. It's awesome. They're public functions.
It's a very interesting example of the good accounting function that you talked about. What I want to let me try it this way.
Sure.
So,
is your intention just to try and point out like, hey, the price could dump to zero because like there's centralization, or like what's the motive?
You've already made that clear.
Okay.
You've been super transparent that the price could go to zero.
Yeah.
I have no ulterior motive. You've been transparent about that, and I respect you for that. What I'm trying to understand.
Interesting fact, you can't actually drive a Uniswap V2 pool to zero by trading. You can only approximate zero, but it could get so close to zero anyway. Yeah.
I appreciate that. Okay. So what I'm trying to understand is this. Origin wallet here on the left, at some point sent money to daughter wallets that's staked.
Yes.
Let's say these two ended their stake.
Yes. Those coins have just sat there. They've never moved again.
Yeah, so you said this has never sold. What you're now saying is that these right here...
Neither the Origin or any of the daughters has ever sold anything on chain that we can see. Now look, those transfers, you don't know what the transfers are, right? It could be anything. It could be the same entity's other wallets. They could have been private sales. It's not known. But what we do know is that none of those coins has ever hit an exchange anywhere ever. None of them. Which might be part of the reason the price has gone up 1,000,000%.
Well, hold on. Because you just said that these right here, these daughter wallets, have never sold on an exchange. But you don't like exchanges. So wouldn't you sell it on a not exchange?
Let me ask you this. I've been retired for 20 years. There's rumors that I received 1 million Ethereum during the adoption amplifier launch phase of Hex. There's rumors that I have something to do with these sacrifices, and there's $240 million of stable coins sitting in the Pulse chain sacrifice. The next Pulse X sacrifice is coming up soon in a few days, 1 or 2 days at pulsex.com. And I wouldn't be surprised if 100 or 200 or 300 million came in from that. Now, at some point, why are all these whales in Hex accumulating more instead of dumping it and selling it? Because why would you sell the world's best performing asset when you could buy it? You know the De Beers company? You ever heard about diamonds being worthless?
Diamonds, of course.
Yeah, they're worthless. Go try and buy some of these worthless diamonds. Turns out they're really, really, really expensive. Ask how I know. There's 3,000 stones right here. Double-sided. I got this as a gift from a Hexican. I got $3 million of watches there. I know exactly what diamonds cost. Supply and demand is the only thing that matters. And I know personally and have met with billionaires that are accumulating the heck out of Pulse, Hex, and PulseX. All three. I've met them in person. Real billionaires with more money than you could ever dream. Multiple, like a couple of them. So, those guys have enough money to drive this price as high as they want to drive it. They could, depending at the rate that they want to on-ramp, the price could become really, really silly because we're pre-viral. People talk about Hex and look at things that are wrong and don't realize that those are opportunities. The best time to buy Bitcoin was when it was nowhere, and people were calling it a scam. The best time to buy Hex is when it was nowhere and people are calling it a scam. Because when the gates finally do open, when we have the world's largest airdrop and they look at this chain and they see what's doing the volume and they see that there's tons of Hex volume because it's mostly Hexicans, or at least a large part Hexicans. Our Pulse chain chat room is nearly twice the size of the Hex chat room, even though Hex has been around for years longer. So for some reason, Pulse chain is an easier pitch for people to digest and they want to on-ramp harder, which is interesting. I I think that these are all opportunities. Having no exchange listings is an opportunity. Having no good ranks on large coin market cap sites is an opportunity. Being called a scam by everyone is an opportunity. We did 1 million X on being called a scam. I'm cool with it at this point. Fine. Because you guys that think it's a scam, you can't sell because you never bought. But some of you guys will see the truth, see that it's an amazing opportunity. And all you can do is move the price up. So it's asymmetrically beneficial.
All right. So you mentioned you don't like exchanges. And you
well, it's regulatory arbitrage. It's disgusting.
These guys, right? You prefer stuff like 1inch and
oh,
the DeFi exchanges,
100%.
DEXs, right?
100%.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So, is it possible that these daughter wallets are selling on DeFi exchanges?
No. It would be on chain. The coins have never moved. They've never moved.
So, nothing that's gone
They've
from
moved
the Origin
once.
wallet has moved out of these daughter wallets?
Never. Nope.
Okay.
So you want to talk about the number one hero, number one stunner, best holder ever? I would say it's those daughter wallets that are getting diluted to cause the market, or those daughter wallets that are getting diluted, and because they're just sitting there, the market cap's higher and the APYs are higher for everybody. Which, by the way,
who controls these?
Nobody knows. Just like Satoshi. Who's Satoshi? Nobody knows. Did he ever dump the price? Nope.
But somebody would have instructed the Origin wallet to send to these daughter wallets. So
how do you know it's even a human? Maybe it's a DAO with voting. Maybe it's a machine. Maybe it's a foundation. Maybe it's an African priest. Who knows?
Wouldn't it be important to know that there was a DAO, if there was a DAO?
The vast majority of projects' trading is done by unknown parties. When you go to an exchange and you buy or sell, you have no idea who you're buying or selling against. In our system, it's more transparent, not less. So as the most transparent, oh, by the way, I made Uniswap popular myself personally. I'm the reason Uniswap's popular because I am the one that promoted it more than Hayden Adams or anyone on his team. We were Hexicans, the majority of the volume and liquidity on their system for months. DeFi is popular because I made it so. Uniswap's popular because I made it so. And so for me to have the most transparent trading and then have to act like there's some type of shady hiding thing in here is weird to me. There's nobody with more transparent trading than us.
Of the Origin wallet?
I would never tell you that. Never.
Okay. Do you have control of any daughter or son or sibling wallets?
I would never tell you that.
Okay.
By the way, I would suggest that no one ever talk about their crypto balances that they hold. So I also won't tell you about any Bitcoin I may or may not hold. I won't tell you about any Ethereum I may or may not hold. I won't tell you about any stables I may or may not hold. And furthermore, there's this little thing in the United States called security